Let my homeless sister stay with me. Caught her stealing $20,000 for a BMW, then she framed me for abuse. My sister's been a mess for years. Drugs, toxic relationships, couch hopping, lying to everyone she meets. Pick a bad habit, and she's probably mastered it. But no matter how bad it got, I never thought I'd be the one cutting her off. Not until this. A few months ago, she showed up at my door with 2 garbage bags full of clothes and a story about how her latest boyfriend kicked her out. She was crying, makeup smeared, said she'd been sleeping in her car for 2 weeks. I hadn't talked to her in almost a year before that, and I only knew bits and pieces of what she'd been up to from our mom. I wanted to turn her away. I really did, but I couldn't. I'd just gotten promoted. I had a decent apartment, steady routine, and was close to hitting a savings goal I'd been working on for over a year. 20 grand, locked away in a separate account. It was for a new car. I've been driving the same beat-up sedan since college, and I was finally ready to upgrade. Something reliable, something I didn't have to pray over every time I turned the key. But none of that seemed important when she stood there shaking, saying she had nowhere to go. I let her in. I set some basic rules. No drugs, no strange people in the apartment. Chip in for groceries when you can. She nodded, promised she was clean, said she just needed a couple weeks to get back on her feet. I gave her the guest room, helped her wash her clothes, even lent her some of my old work clothes so she could look presentable while applying for jobs. The first few days were fine, quiet. She mostly kept to herself. Said she was applying to jobs online, looking into getting a new phone, stuff like that. I wanted to believe her. I even started feeling guilty for assuming the worst. That didn't last long. Week 2, things started getting weird. I'd come home and notice little things out of place. Kitchen drawers left open, my laptop moved, the cabinet where I keep spare keys hanging open. Once I found my desk chair positioned directly in front of the closet where I keep old tax records and bank stuff. I asked her about it and she brushed it off, said she was just looking for batteries. I should have trusted my gut, but I didn't want to seem paranoid. I tried giving her the benefit of the doubt. Then came the Cash App notifications. I got an alert on my phone that someone had tried linking my savings account to a new device. I immediately froze. Nobody should have had access to that information. I keep the login saved only on my work computer. I logged in and saw a pending transfer. $5,000, canceled. Thank God. But it meant someone had tried. I changed all my passwords and locked the account. I still wasn't thinking it was her. I thought maybe I'd clicked a phishing link or got hacked somehow. Still, I started watching her a little more closely. She had no job, no car, and no real reason to be going out late. But she was. She'd sneak out around 11 p.m., come back past 2. I told myself maybe she met someone. Maybe she was trying to make money on the side, doing some under-the-table work. I didn't want to believe she'd do anything worse. I didn't want to believe she'd steal from me. But I couldn't ignore it anymore when I found my birth certificate and social security card crumpled in the bathroom trash. That was the moment I knew something bad was going on. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I went and bought a $40 indoor camera from the tech aisle at Walmart and hid it behind the bookshelf in my room. Pointed straight at my desk, where I kept a folder with backup bank statements and my emergency debit card, one I rarely used, tied to that savings account. 3 days later, I had my answer. I was at work when I got the notification. Motion detected in my bedroom. I opened the app, expecting maybe the cat had knocked something over. What I saw was my sister crouched in front of my desk, flipping through my documents and pulling out the debit card. She looked right at the folder, shoved it in her hoodie, and walked out. I couldn't believe it. Not even just the stealing, the way she did it. Calm. Like it was nothing. Like it belonged to her. I left work early. When I got home, the apartment was empty. Her stuff was still there, but she wasn't. The debit card was gone. I logged into my bank app. $20,000 gone. All of it. The transfer was done that morning, straight to a prepaid account I didn't recognize. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat at the kitchen table staring at the app, watching the last $20,000 I'd spent over a year saving vanish into thin air. Every few minutes, I'd replay the video of her in my room, trying to convince myself I wasn't crazy, that this really happened. At around 4 a.m., the front door finally opened. She walked in like nothing happened. Hoodie on, earbuds in, carrying a plastic bag from a gas station, a soda and some chips. Not even a trace of guilt on her face. I didn't say anything at first. I just stood up and held out my phone. "What's that?" she asked. I hit play. I've never seen someone freeze so fast. Her whole body tensed. She didn't even try to lie, just stood there watching herself on the screen, caught red-handed. "Are you going to let me explain?" she said finally, with the fakest calm voice I've ever heard. I didn't answer. I walked past her into the hallway and grabbed a duffel bag. I tossed it onto the couch. "Pack your shit." She didn't move. I needed that money. You wouldn't understand. I lost it. I told her how long I'd been saving, how I skipped vacations, second-guessed takeout, drove a car with no AC through 2 summers just so I could hit that number, how I trusted her, gave her a place to stay, how she was my sister. And then she hit me with it. You think you're better than me just because you're not on the street? Like that made what she did okay. I told her she had 1 hour to leave, or I was going to the police with the footage. She started crying, yelling about how families should stick together. Then she tried to flip it on me. Said she only took the money because she heard I was going to use it for something stupid, like a car when she was trying to start over and needed it more. That made me laugh. I couldn't help it. She stole from me, and now she was trying to act like she did it for the greater good? She didn't pack. She stormed into the guest room and slammed the door. I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch with the video paused on her face, ready to hit send to the cops the second she stepped out of line. But here's where things went sideways. Around 10 a.m., I left for work. I locked my room, locked the office drawer, even left a note saying I had all the evidence backed up and ready to send to the police. I just wanted her gone. I got to work, and after an hour or so, I got a call from my building manager. "Hey," he said, "there's some police officers down here asking about you." "What?" "They said they got a call about a domestic dispute. Your sister's down here talking to them." I left immediately. My heart was pounding. I didn't know what the hell she told them, but I knew it wasn't the truth. When I got there, she was sitting on the curb fake crying with 2 cops crouched next to her. She saw me and pointed immediately. "That's him. That's my brother." One of the cops walked up to me and asked if I had time to talk. Apparently, she told them I'd gotten physical. Said I pushed her, screamed in her face, threatened her life. Said she'd been terrified to stay the night but didn't have anywhere else to go. She even showed them some scratch marks on her arm, like she tried to make it look like I attacked her. Luckily, I had everything documented. The video, the timestamps, the messages, the note I left that morning. And the cop must have picked up on something because he didn't look convinced. He asked me if I had proof of what I was claiming, and I showed him everything. I asked to press charges for theft. They told me it would take time, that I'd have to file a report and they'd investigate. She was still sitting there when they told her she'd have to leave the property. She started wailing, saying she had nowhere to go, that I was trying to ruin her life. One of the cops offered to drive her to a women's shelter. She screamed at him too. She left on foot. I thought that was the end of it. I went back upstairs, spent the rest of the day locking down everything and credit freezes, new bank cards, passwords. I couldn't get the money back, at least not yet, but I was hoping the report would help. My bank said they'd open an investigation. I started gathering all the paperwork. Then the twist hit. Later that night, I get a knock on the door. I look through the peephole. It's my mom. I hadn't even told her yet. I open the door and she pushes right past me. No hello, no hug, just straight into my apartment, fuming. "What the hell did you do to your sister?" Apparently my sister called her first and told her I robbed her. She said I tricked her into signing some form and stole her inheritance. Inheritance from where? We don't even have money in this family, but my mom, she believed it. She said I always acted like I was better and never helped family unless there was something in it for me. I stood there, stunned, my own mother in my house, yelling at me after I was the one who got robbed. I showed her the video, I showed her the bank statement, I showed her the fake bruise my sister posted online. And you know what she said? "She's still your sister." I told her if she didn't walk out that door, I'd call the cops again, this time on her. And I meant it. She left, but not before calling me heartless. Now both of them have me blocked, and my mom's posting vague Facebook rants about betrayal and family loyalty. I'm just sitting here in a silent apartment staring at my empty account, wondering how the hell I'm the bad guy in all this. After the blow up with my mom, I was done. I mean, fully done. I didn't reach out, didn't answer texts, blocked both of them across everything. I figured the damage was already done. My money was gone, my name was getting dragged through the mud in my own family, and I was still driving a car that rattled like a shopping cart every time I hit 40. What else could she take? Turns out, a lot. I started getting calls from banks I didn't use. Credit cards I never applied for. One of them asked if I'd authorized a $4,000 jewelry purchase in another state. I hadn't even left my zip code in weeks. That's when it hit me. She wasn't done. She still had my information. She still had copies of my documents. Somehow, she had enough to start opening things in my name. And that's when I stopped feeling guilty. I stopped trying to be the bigger person. I started building a case. I took a week off work. I called every bank, every debt collector, every store account she opened, using my info, froze everything, filed an identity theft report, sent in the camera footage, sent in the screenshots, even dug up old texts between us where she'd asked about my personal info, just in case she needed it for a job app. It was tedious. It took hours every day, but I documented everything, filed every report. I was on the phone with fraud departments like it was a second job. 2 weeks into the mess, I got a letter from a finance company saying my application for a new BMW had been declined. BMW, she was trying to buy a $70,000 car under my name, with my stolen identity. while pretending to be the victim on Facebook. And here's the fun part. The dealership had security footage of her test driving the car. I called the detective who had taken my original theft report, sent him everything. They subpoenaed the dealership. That was the final nail. A month later, she got arrested. The charges? Identity theft, wire fraud, and felony level theft. She had over 10 open accounts tied to my name, totaling nearly $45,000. She had also submitted a rental application for an apartment she bragged about on social media, and used my social security number on the paperwork. She was building a whole second life with my name. And the dumbest part? She bragged about it publicly, thinking no one would connect the dots. She got caught trying to withdraw money from a prepaid account she'd opened, using my info at a check cashing place. The teller got suspicious and flagged it. She got taken in right there. They found fake documents in her purse. When I got the call, I didn't even feel good, just tired. The officer asked if I wanted to pursue full charges. I said yes. My mom tried to call me 3 days later, left a voicemail saying I was ruining the family, that I needed to drop it, that my sister wasn't thinking straight and just needed help. I didn't reply. A few weeks later, my sister was arraigned. She pled guilty to avoid a longer sentence. Got hit with 2 years probation, mandatory rehab, and restitution. She has to pay me back every cent plus court fees. It's coming out of her paycheck whenever she gets a job again. She hasn't messaged me once since. She knows better. My mom hasn't spoken to me again either. Her Facebook is full of quotes about forgiveness and loyalty, like that makes her look like a saint. I used the court judgment and restitution proof to fight the fraud claims. One by one, the credit accounts started clearing. My score bounced back. The dealership incident helped the most. Hard to argue with video of her face. It's been 6 months now. I finally bought the car I wanted. Not a BMW, nothing flashy. Just a decent, clean new SUV that starts on the first try and doesn't sound like it's falling apart. Sometimes when I drive it, I think about how close I came to losing more than just money. She almost tanked my whole life. And the wildest part? She's still telling people I set her up.